every week, though, the best part about it, you're seeing a line graph, but it's going up. You're not seeing like kind of stagger around. I don't really count the Miami game as much because Mike Norvell was not there, and I think it played a big part. But you're seeing a growth every week, which all of us here, that's what we want to see. You look at that and look at what Mike Norvell just won against the number 5 team in the country. He had no damn spring. He had no idea who was really his quarterback was going to be. He made a quarterback change, and he's able to pull off an upset like that on national television. And that goes into recruiting, which we'll probably talk with Nate about later in the week. But that is huge for a guy that did not have a spring at all, going through COVID, going through the whole social thing that he went on with his team. That right there tells you the future's bright in Tallahassee.
Hey guys, it's Terrence Nan. You're listening to Hear the Spirit, presented by Noel Game Day. Go Noles.
Hey, what's up? This is Peter Ward, a.k.a. E-Dub, in the house. So we're listening to Hear the Spirit, presented by Noel Game Day. Go Live, go Noles.
Hi, this is Charlie Ward, and you're listening to Hear the Spirit, go Noles.
This is Terrell Buckley. You're listening to Hear the Spirit, presented by Noel Game Day. No Bloody.
But perhaps better known as the greatest corner to ever step on a football field, Deion Primetime Sanders.
Great Deion Sanders, my brother. What's going on, man? I could wake up to that greeting every day, man. That was awesome.
Hello, Noles fans. This is former Seminole Derek Brooks, and you're listening to Hear the Spirit, presented to you by Noel Game Day.
James Wilder Jr. What's going on, James?
Thanks for having me on. SSOD, Florida State or Die, and go Noles.
William Bar None Floyd.
Gentlemen, what's up?
What is up, gentlemen? What's up? Just a little bit late here. Maybe not a crazy first instant reaction, but we actually got to sleep on it and maybe not be, a little tipsy. That probably wouldn't be so professional of me to do that last night. But I actually got to have some fun. Florida State takes down number 5 North Carolina in Doak Campbell Stadium. Florida State defense in the first half shows up. Big plays were made. Veterans showed up. It was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful night in Tallahassee. We're about to get into it, give our first raw kind of reactions here on the podcast. With me tonight, Nate Greer, our lead recruiting insider. Below me is my boy Karlos Williams, 2013 national champion running back, also in the NFL. Also, Austin Beasy, our lead basketball writer. Dustin isn't with us this evening because, you know what, he's Debbie Downer Dustin, and he's kind of sad that Florida State won. So screw him. We're going to have a good time and talk some Florida State upset here. What's going on, gentlemen?
What's up, fellas? Man? What's up?
How you guys tonight?
I got all the energy, baby. Florida State wins big time. Steelers look like they are a top 2, top 3 team in the NFL right now. And I'm feeling wonderful. It's a great weekend. Did y'all have a good time on Sunday? Like this whole day? This feels nice.
The Vikings are one less closer to Trevor Lawrence, so I can't complain.
That is true, Austin. That is true.
Hey, Chicago's got the division lead now. I hate to see Tom Brady have success as a Buccaneer, but Chicago's in first. So, but
everybody's
about NFL. Who cares about NFL?
Who gives about
Watching Pittsburgh win today was nice. My brother had a couple splash plays, so that was nice to watch. 98, bust some helmets today, so that was cool. I mean, having them being at the top of their game and watching them play with the Browns, who's been shocking a lot of people. So who would have thought that the Patriots would have been in that position, and who would have thought that in 2020 the Cleveland Browns would have been sitting in where they are right now. Their record is above 500.
Well, I know we could talk about NFL all day because we love sports and football, but the only reason we have about over 120 people watching right now is because we want to talk Florida State versus North Carolina. Obviously, I think everyone on here, Karlos wasn't able to be with us for the preview, but everybody on here picked Florida State to lose this game. I think I had the lowest score. I said 34-31 North Carolina. It kind of got close there at the end, but no one here was expecting Florida State to really pull this off. And boom, Florida State starts off right off the bat. And they're there to play defense. Obviously, the block punt, Marvin Wilson. But y'all give me just your raw instant reactions, and we'll jump through a couple series for the next couple minutes. Who
So
wants it first? Who wants it first?
I'll go first. I'll go first. So you finally saw some intensity, some passion, some effort. You finally saw some energy from FSU's defense. So we talked about coming off Notre Dame that the offense is starting to show a pulse, but there's always that but the defense and came out to play, and they beat some ass in that first half. I was really happy, really surprised to see 31-7 at the half. It's a different ball game if Lucas doesn't have that stupid ass penalty, and they end up missing that field goal, and Carolina still, is in the game. They go down and drive for a score. 38-7 is a different mentality. It's a different 31 points. Carolina taps out at that point, and I don't think the game is that close. But for me, my immediate reaction was like, oh shit, they're gonna get this one away. But to see them, push through adversity and not really be the Florida State that we've seen the last few years when they get double-digit leads or leads in the fourth quarter given away, that they nutted up and they pushed through. And we talked about before we hopped on about the defense, and I'll let Karlos talk a little bit more about that. But there's not one defense in the country right now that's playing great ball. Everyone wants Dan Lanning from Georgia. They got exposed. Georgia's got the highest payroll in college right now, them and Clemson. And they still cannot get it done on defense. Alabama giving up points all over. Florida. So, there's issues on the defense, but that front four came to play, and that was the big difference in the game. It was never about talent for Florida State, but when they play up to their abilities, they can compete with anyone. They finally show some heart, and the result was a W against the top 5 team.
I mean, it was definitely a tale of two halves. Like the first half, we came out, we're dominated on both sides of the ball. UNC looked stunned. Their offensive coordinator was doing surrender cobra. And we really thought we were going to run away with it. We opened the second half, marched right down the field again. And like Nate said, if Lucas doesn't get that stupid penalty to force a 3 that we end up missing, it's an entirely different ballgame. We probably walk out of there with a double-digit victory. Instead, UNC climbs their way back in. They start picking on Akeem Dent and Miko Dotson a little bit because they realize trying to attack Asante Samuel is not the move. And it started working. They won some contested deep balls, got some easy touchdowns there to make it close. But like you said, defense stepped up when they really needed to. Yeah, they gave up over 500 yards. But for the most part, they were getting consistent pressure on that. It's the first we've seen all year. Samuel played well. There's still stuff we can improve on, like some missed tackles, but instincts were good. And everywhere else, there's a lot of improvement, which we haven't seen the last 2 years.
I don't care what the score was. I don't care. I don't care how the second half. I don't care. It does not matter. And as a player, and I'm gonna give you 2 different points of view. As a player, I don't care what the score is. I want to win. Do you think NC State cared 16-17? No, they won. They beat the number 2 team in the country. I don't care. Those boys play with heart. I mean, I watch guys play with heart, like not just effort, but with pure heart, like pure. I want to put something more on film. And a lot of times, like, you've seen Marvin, you've seen Cooper getting heated and one. Yeah, I understand it's heated and you get a penalty, but at the same time, that's the kind of stuff that you don't see anymore. You don't see that. We get mad at the bonehead targeting the penalty by Durden, but Durden played more active than he's played all season.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody did. 13 played more active. 11 was around the ball. I mean, he's not actively making the play, but he's around, and that is frustrating. It's frustrating, but he's collapsing the pocket at least. I mean the RP they kind of run they run the dump pass with the tight end right over top. I mean, the linebackers aren't dropping deep enough. They're not going to run. They're not running the ball like they plan to coming into the game. That wasn't a big threat for me. And then late in the game, they just felt the mismatch with the height advantage. I mean, Dent played great football. I can coach that. I can say, hey, man, look, play through the hands. You just got beat up top. That's 1-for-1. Hey, it is what it is. Process, move on. You know, you put 9 out there. It's a height advantage. He played great defense. That I'm okay with them playing defense like that and having points scored on you. I'm cool with that. You know, you can give up that many points, and you know what? They didn't win the game. You stopped them when you needed to. That's all that matters to me. When the game was on the line, y'all proved that you could finish a game. Yeah, it's a bend but did not break defense. And it's a young defense at that. A lot of young guys still are getting a chance to play and prove themselves as role players and significant role players on this team. So with that, I mean, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with how many points they score late in the game. I'm cool with them. I like to see that. I wanted to see a little bit of adversity. You know what? You really didn't want to see Florida State beat them 31-7. You didn't want to see that. No, because it wouldn't have been realistic. It's not realistic to us. No, we got a chance to see our flaws that we've been showing all season, but we also saw a lot of growth that we've been not seeing early on this season that we've seen again since we played Notre Dame. You know, so I'm cool with the score. I'm happy with the progression. Shout out to 13. You played a hell of a game. I mean, you put the team on your back, even with a hurt arm late in the game. You continued to show leadership. And Blackman, not many people are going to speak on it, but I want to give you, a big round of applause because when he needed somebody to be in his ear to keep him mentally in the game, knowing he was hurting, you were there, not getting ready to get in the game, but you were there to talk to him, to keep him mentally ready, to keep him, mentally motivated, to tell him to continue to put the team on his back and help him continue to lead the team into winning into victory. So really happy about seeing that from Blackman.
Yeah, Blackman. That's a good thing. Yeah, Blackman. I was just gonna say, Blackman could probably tell Jordan Travis, you're gonna have to probably get used to getting hit a little bit, buddy. And he could probably give him some good advice on maybe not getting hit so hard. He's been through that before.
I do want to follow up real quick on Karlos. Since we're already there with the defensive line, coming in, Carolina had only given up 4 sacks all year. They matched that in this game. They had, I think, around 20 quarterback pressures on 47 drop back. Yeah, 47 drop back. So, they were putting the pressure on him, and a lot of that was 4-man rush. And I think Robinson played the best game of his career. 2 sacks, 3 tackle for loss. Still had a couple plays where he missed, but I think overall that was Robinson's best game.
Yes, I agree.
For me though, the biggest thing was the 2 for 11 on third down, holding them for 0 for 6 on third and long, and 0-3 on fourth down. So they got off the field, and they haven't done that much all year this year. So as you said, they gave up some yards. They gave up a lot of 50-50 plays. I do think Dent had a couple plays he could have played better, but that deep ball at Dustin, you can't play that any better. It's just a great play by the Carolina receiver.
And that he's a starter. I mean, they're number 5 in the country. He's a starter for a reason. He got to play football too.
Yep. So, I just think it was those little things, and then the ability to put pressure all game. You could tell that Sam Howell was not comfortable, and that was the biggest difference for me.
And Karlos mentioned 13 playing well on the offensive side, but I thought 13 on the defensive side played well also. I thought Kendo had a really good game. Even though he didn't have the numbers, he was getting pressures all night, just beating that left tackle.
The ends, that's what I'm saying. They were the constant collapsing of the pocket. And Sam Howell, as a quarterback, will sit in the pocket. He will dot mob. Like, he will throw the ball all across the field if you let him. And he has the feet to do that RPO and get the ball to the tight end down the middle of the field and get the running back on the edge. They're dangerous that way. And I think our front four, I'm very proud of them. It gave me goosebumps watching them. I think when they watch the film, they're going to be like, man, we're capable of doing this to a top 5 team. And know what they said? If you watch the TV presentation, the 2 running backs, they got the best running backs in the ACC and this dominant duo. We didn't really feel none of that because our pressure and our front four dominated. They played up to the standard of what Florida State's used to seeing.
Let me ask you this. Steve on the Unconquered Talk podcast kind of made an interesting point. How much has played in, because you see Marv play better the past few games. Durden's played a little bit better. That second half of Notre Dame played better this game. How much I guess of them being out of shape has been a factor, and then finally maybe getting back into shape now. It sucks that it's 5 games in the season, but they just look more game ready. And that last drive by Marv, I think he had two quarterback pressures. I think he hit the quarterback twice. So when it mattered most, he played a hellacious four downs.
Yeah, we've been giving the defensive line a hard time on here on this podcast for sure for a few months, or since the start of the season, and finally they do show up. And for this game, most certainly, you had to have contain on Hal, but also put him and make him feel uneasy. And as kind of Nate, you predicted it, you said it on the preview, you said, Sam Howell is going to make some mistakes, and you predicted that. And the best part about though, Florida State, Marvin Wilson, Corey Durden before he had to be ejected, that targeting call. What are you going to do whenever he's that size? I mean, what do you want him to crawl and tackle? I mean, that honestly, I know I went helmet to helmet, but what do you want him to do? I mean, it's so annoying that the refs. Oh, Doak Campbell Stadium. There was guys throwing water bottles at the refs. I loved it. I mean, it was dog shit. But what are you supposed to do? Like, even at my height, that'd be hard for me to tackle.
I really thought they were going to throw that DPI on Dotson.
Yeah,
on the third down. I really thought it was going to happen, but I think they just negated it since
he pushed off.
Yeah, it was a push off. It was an obvious push off. I'm glad they negated it instead of throwing the whole.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Offensively, let's go to offense real quick. So obviously we talked a little bit about Jordan Travis, but let's talk about starting running back LaDamian Webb. Starting running back LaDamian Webb. I think he solidified his spot there. Corbin has his own kind of attributes, but if you're wanting your take the main course of snaps, I think LaDamian Webb is that guy. He's just hard to tackle. He's great in the red zone, and he split off some good runs last night too, which were really impressive. He's got speed. He also has some really good vision, and he kind of lets the holes come to him. And you got to look at the offensive line too, helps him out a little bit. But LaDamian Webb, talk about him.
I'm gonna pat myself in the back a little bit because I said in our Uncocked Talk podcast, I didn't say it on here. That's why I'm not going to mention it on here. But on that podcast, one of my predictions was that Webb should be the primary running back, just based off seeing what you see on film, and that's all carried over to Florida State. That 54-yard run was a thing of beauty. 9.1 yards per rush last night. They need to get him the ball 20 times a game because he's going to produce for you. Runs hard, great balance, doesn't go down on first contact. He's a chain mover. He's not Dalvin Cook speed. Not many guys are. Maybe doesn't have Karlos speed, but at the same time, he gets those 6 yards, 7 yards, 5 yards, 4 yards, and he's always falling forward. You never really see him go backwards. He's always falling forward, and that's something that I know you're really big on Devontae. Devontae did that so well. James Wilder did that so well. Dalvin did it pretty well. So he's always dependable, and for me, he's got to be the number one guy moving forward.
In my opinion, he is the first running back we've had that we've seen be a running back. And what I mean by that is I was an athlete. I played safety. James Wilder played linebacker. Devontae was a running back that we played with. Devontae was a every down back at Central. Cam Akers played quarterback. He could play in the slide, play everything. Kalen Laybourne, when he was here, he played in the slot, played everything in his high school. But when Dalvin also came out of Miami Central, this kid was a running back. This is the first time I've seen we have a back that's touching the ball, that can get the ball, like Nate said, 20 times a game, that's going to run downhill. He's going to take first contact, boom, boom, boom. That's 2 or 3 yards. I'm going to get 7 or 8 in this carry. You know what I'm saying? And our offensive line is going to start to feed off that. And when those big boys start moving and those first downs start coming off of running the ball, Yeah, now I can take a break and it's, 3rd and 3. That second and short. Yeah, it's easy to go nice little play action now in the flat, something nice little a concept to ease the running game now. But the way he's running the football, we haven't seen that since we had Dalvin. Cam did a lot of different things. He wasn't a downhill. We haven't had that. He's bouncing off guys, making people miss. He's running with determination. I like what Zero brings to the game as well. I like what he's able to do. We've able to have two backs on the field at the same time. We haven't seen that in a while. So just being able to run the football like that on that kind of team like that, yes, they've been exposed and their defense isn't as strong as a lot of people give them credit for. It's a top 5 team. And he solidified himself as a starting back at Florida State. He should get 20 carries a game, no less than that.
His balance is incredible. I mean, both of you guys mentioned a little bit, like he can take contact and he's still running. And it's really nice to see. Whereas Corbin's a good back, don't get me wrong, but sometimes he goes down on that first hit. Webb just breaks every arm tackle. If guys don't wrap up completely, he's going to spin out of it. And I think his spin move is incredible too. We saw it once last night. We saw it obviously against the Jacksonville State game.
Reminds you of Wilder and Clemson in 2012.
Yeah.
His great balance, his core, like his determination to want to continue the ball down the field. And he has great ball security. And that's one thing I've seen a lot of this season is good ball security out of our backs.
So
we're keeping the ball off the ground.
Don't knock on some wood. Knock on some wood.
Listen, I kid you not. No way. When I was in Buffalo, we had Anthony Lynn, who's the head coach of the Chargers now. And A-Lynn would say, Ryan Matthews went to Fresno State, I believe, played with the Eagles for a long time. He said he had the disease. I'm like, what is he talking about? He just got – no. At Florida State is something that we just didn't do. We didn't fumble the football. And I don't care where you come from. You come in transferred or you get recruited. You just know we take care of the football as a back. And we have taken care of the football. I mean, if you're going to run it 20 times a game like we're going to run it, we got to be able to take care of it. And I'm just happy we've seen it off the ground.
So watch that 54-yard run again. He made 2 cuts, and he cut back across the field on that. And then, as you said, as contact came, he wrapped the ball up. Like he felt the contact coming, and he carries the ball high and tight. And he's not a guy who I see putting the ball on the ground. And you have to get him square for that to happen. And I don't think you get a square shot on him. I'm really, really happy with that guy and how Norvell can scheme the running game. And even Coach Atkins, I think that's the best hire of any hire this offseason of any team in the country so far this year. What they've been able to do to scheme the running game and to take advantage of Travis's runability. That's putting a lot of pressure on defenses.
Not even the running game. We saw it kind of with the play actions on that one drive where we had the middle pass to Preston Daniel. And then same thing with Ontario Wilson. He sells those play actions so hard, and it just leaves a guy wide open. They're skimming around that too, and everything just keeps developing as the weeks go on. We keep seeing little adjustments, little improvements here and there that really gives you a lot of faith in this coaching staff. That's for sure.
Yeah, those linebackers totally bit on that play action on that pass Ontario Wilson. Like you saw that coming. Like that was a play call coming off a timeout, I believe, and those linebackers, they completely bit on that and opened that field wide open for Wilson. And that play with Preston Daniel was phenomenal. Like,
hey fellas, where's Daniels from again?
Memphis.
Oh, Memphis, huh? Walk on?
Yeah.
Huh. Told my wife we were sitting there and they said 45's a freshman walk on from Memphis. I said, where's Coach from? It's kind of a coincidence that you're got a guy, freshman from Memphis and walking on, and I guarantee before 45 leaves Florida State, that kid's going to be on scholarship. I like the way he blocked on the edge. I like this effort. You know what? It reminds me. He knows hard. Like he doesn't mind getting his hands dirty. Like he really, really blocked extremely well, and that helped on that pass play. Him sneaking around the middle of the field, big gain, great momentum boost. But him blocking, if you watch the game, him having the ability to get his hands dirty and his nose in there, opened up the play action, and it opened up some of those RPOs.
I liked when they would take him across the formation and put him out wide
Yeah.
and set up screen bubbles out there. I thought those worked really well too, and that's something they
Yes.
could use in the future.
Yeah, it was nice. That was a sexy play, and that Florida State was pinched there too in the end zone too, and it worked beautifully. And so going to the wide receiver unit too, we had to find guys that would step up for Florida State. We predicted Ontario Wilson, which sure enough, he stepped up. But man, look at number 6 too. Good for Helton, man. That boy right there. Whenever Helton caught that ball from Travis, that was a little bit underthrown. Blah blah blah. He's on the run. It's in, you know, it's Jordan Travis. But you know, you look at Helton, man, and once I knew Helton was fine for that, and making a play like that really wakes up that sideline. You know, like we have some heart for this game. That Helton had a really solid game, and it'll be nice because you're going to want to see him keep improving and being a wide receiver number 1 moving forward, because you got Ontario Wilson too, and Thompson was in there, but wide receiver unit stepped up too whenever it came time.
My favorite part about that is as his quarterback scrambling, and we know Travis is going to be on the move quite a bit. We know that. We know we have a great run game with him, the RPO game with him, the heavy play action. We're going to get him on the outside. But if you watch the play developed, it was a over and back. Like he sold it. He sold it so beautifully. But then his way to go compete and come help his quarterback. You know, that kid's been hurt. He hasn't seen a ton of action. His first game back, he scored a touchdown. So we know he can't compete. We know he's hungry to be in the game. And then having, you know, your conference All-American having a small precision of being out, who's going to step up? You have younger guys go in there and step up, guys that haven't had that much opportunity to step up. And that's something big when you're playing a top 5 team. Hats off to 6, making a big play when a big play was needed.
And even the catch that ended up being incomplete where his hand just touched down.
Yes.
That was
Hell yeah.
effort. But the thing I was most impressed with was they're finally learning to improvise on routes when the play breaks down. We haven't seen that the first 4 weeks, and surely that's coming from the coaches saying, "Hey, Jordan's scrambling out the pocket. You got to give him a window to throw." We saw that on Helton's first catch where he broke off that post route and came right so Travis could see him. I thought that was incredible effort. We saw it from McDonald too in the end zone.
Yeah, it feels like the offense is. I mean, obviously we saw a burst in the first half, but it's starting to become a spinning wheel that was slowly going, but it seems like Norvell and Dillingham know what their unit is at running back. They've figured out who needs to be where and what packages, and then also wide receivers are stepping up, but they're also understanding a new quarterback that they haven't seen, and they're having to get used to that. And like Austin said, you know, Jordan Travis is going to be a guy that's going to roll out, and he's going to roll out for a while and keep eyeing down the field. So try to run routes, get off your guy, because there's going to be some potential where you can throw a bomb or have a big explosive play right there, and that's what Jordan Travis brings to the table. You know, Blackman really wasn't that way. He'd still try to roll out, but for some reason his eyes weren't finding guys. But wide receivers were stepping up most certainly in this game. And, you know, obviously you go into the second half. You know, what's crazy to me is Florida State still won this game without scoring a point and going in the second half.
Well, you know, I was super pissed off with that penalty. You know, Florida State's got to clean that up. They had 12 penalties for 89 yards. You know, a couple of those were aggressive penalties, which you want to take. I'm fine with that. Like Karlos said earlier, you know, some of those you want to see those aggressive penalties as long as they're not. They got to be the right situation. That was just really stupid because that killed all the momentum. But you know, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it now. You know, FSU's field goal kicking since you know that Georgia Tech block and return. You know, since then FSU is only 68% on field goals since that block. And 9 of 11 that was Roberto finishing that year. Since 2018, Florida State's only 58%. So you can't leave points on the board. You know, you even add 3 more, you know, you're a little bit more comfortable. You add those 2 missed field goals, that pressure is not there at the end of the game. So they got to clean that up. A guy who covets special teams play so heavily in Norvell, you could just tell how pissed off he was the second time that Fitzgerald missed that field goal. But we can't have that. And then, you know, while we're on special teams, I got to give a shout out to Ja'Kai Douglas. That was definitely schemed for him to get open and get that punt. They had to see something on film because that was just too easy for him to come out that edge straight on and get that block. So, but they got to clean up field goal. Can't be 58%. Can't be 68%. And especially in both of them, if I'm not mistaken, were inside 40 yards.
The second one I wasn't too terribly mad at. I know the end result was a horribly missed kick, but he was rushed out there with less than 10 seconds left. I'd rather of us taking a timeout there. And I'd rather us taking a timeout when Travis was obviously hurt and we're doing Wildcat from 3rd and 8. But yeah, that second kick I wasn't too mad at, but either way, you can't be going 1 for 3 in a game like this against the number 5 team in the country. We got some lucky breaks. Yes, we still won, but there's still things we definitely improve on. That's one of the areas.
On the other side of things, obviously, Asante, it was pretty funny watching North Carolina and Mac Brown and Tar Heels really kind of going after Asante for a good while. And
it didn't work out well.
No, I thought it was pretty funny. I thought that was a bad idea, and it ended up being pretty much a bad idea. But, they found a way with someone else with 27 for the rest of the night, and they found success with it. I think it came to might not be. Yeah, they might not.
They did us a favor. They did us a favor because 27 is going to play through the hands of every fade, every corner route, every outbreaking route. He's going to cut. It's not that he was exposed because he played tight covered defense, but he's that's a little growing pain. I mean, have you seen 27 out there on the island that much? No, we were missing 7. I've been saying since I've been on the podcast, 7 needs to be on the inside. They even play.
I think.
So,
I think at the end they threw in Dotson on the opposite of Asante, which I'm kind of cool with that. This man, obviously, we saw North Carolina get a catch on him, but that was beautiful coverage from Dotson. And you look back at last year, my man Dotson led the country in interceptions.
He had that pick, but I know it was a penalty on Carolina, but
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Put him across. I think you found out who your number 2 guy is. It's been a little shady, and obviously didn't see Jerry and Jones last night. But you go to you look at Asante Samuel Jr. He's got his stuff unlocked. Throw Dotson in there. I think those are your 2 guys moving forward on your 2 corners.
And I know Los just said he thinks 7 should be on the inside with Jerry and Jones, but I thought Jarvis Brownlee was wrecking havoc in that slot. Sending him on blitzes, but he can still drop. I thought he was amazing in the slot last night.
I was like, is that Derwin on the field running around everywhere? Like, I honestly kid you not, he's everywhere.
He was blowing up.
He's around the football. He's around the football. And I want to say this now, since we haven't talked about this group yet. Linebackers, Emmett Rice. It was nice to see you, Emmett Rice. It was nice to see you, one. It was really, the boys wearing, that powder blue and white, they seen a lot of you the other night. And I was very happy because you were lighting them up every chance you got. And that was some of the best football I got a chance to see him play all season. I like the way one played.
What do you guys think about that 4-2-5? Kind of focus heavy on the DBs.
It was working.
I think, Amari Gainer only played like 10, 12 plays, which I think was pretty surprising. If that's what they're going to run, they got to use him at DN. You can't keep him off the field. But, that was a really interesting adjustment. Brownlee played his ass off.
Nate, is he a starter at
they
DN?
Found his spot.
Is Amari Gainer a starter at DN?
I think it gives you more.
Is he a starter at DN, and who does he start over?
Robinson.
So we talked about this earlier. We all agreed that Robinson played the game is his career. But why did you wait until your senior year? We play North Carolina on prime time to finally play this way. And how long have you been a starter? Through 3 coaches now. At the end of Jimbo.
Yep.
Through Taggart. And now Norvell. And now, I'll be honest with you, as a player, not as a but as a player, bro, somebody else got to be getting those. It's a 55. Who's 55?
That is Derek McClendon.
I like that kid.
He played his ass off.
Yeah.
Give 11. If you ain't gonna play like that, like I said, he had a career. Like Nate, you was right. He had his career game, and 11 probably had it. But 55, You're the future. You're going to be wearing garnet gold for the next couple years. So I want you to I need you to get all the time on the field you can, because your energy, the way you play, is consistent. And I'll take the MAs that I'll take those mental errors, because I'll take the effort. You're going to give me that every play.
What about Briggs coming back? That was huge. Dennis Briggs coming back and playing with
could have been
Love It out, with Stu Thompson out, with Durden going out with and he played around
what he needed to do.
30 snaps. And you know, he contributed. You know, that was huge for him to come back. But you know, talking about defense, you know, we talk about him every week. What do you think about number 6?
I think it was a pretty solid game for 6.
He had the one bad angle in the second half where I was like, come on, man, you got to close that angle a little bit faster, a little bit sharper. But other than that, he wasn't horrible.
No. 6 is – 6 remind me of, and 6 is that savvy veteran who's not going to make a lot of splash, but he's going to get – he is the captain on the field. I see him directing a lot of traffic. He's never in the wrong place. Yeah, he had one bad angle, but what, Austin, like you said, he didn't have a bad game.
No.
He is now that savvy veteran. He's going to be at the right place at the right time. He's going to line up, do his lineman assignment and technique. He may not have a lot of splash, but you know he's going to get his job done. And I'll take that from 6 week in and week out.
You know who I compare him to is Nate Andrews a little bit.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Veteran guy. Felt like he's been here for so long.
He's going to do exactly what he's coached to do, and that's a guy that you can depend on week in and week out.
Yeah, he had 8 tackles.
You know who I compare him to? Corey Mangum.
Oh. No. How dare you?
Don't you dare.
I'm kidding.
Hey, Corey Mangum.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Jesus.
So, okay. No, I'm kidding. But anyways, that really bad angle, I think, was followed up, if I could be wrong, was on the goal line where he filled an imaginary hole where he should have. His job was to be on the edge.
Seal the edge, and he ended up going inside.
To the edge, he went inside and completely avoided the contact and allowed the touchdown. You know, I think that, again, still, he played probably his best game of the season.
I'm going to be honest. I think he made a business decision after watching Ronaldo get ran over, Nate.
You can't make business, man, not the goal line.
Hey, hello. Hey, Ronaldo took one for the team, and I think everybody started watching after that.
Yeah. I mean, not the goal line, man. Put your head in there. I mean,
I'm with you.
I'd rather get run over on the goal line and at least trying, and then fill in an imaginary hole and looking like you're avoiding the contact.
Very true.
I thought, I mean, these boys came to play hitting wise.
Yeah.
I mean, that looked like
that was a great hit on the middle that he had. He came up and had that breakup.
Brownlee,
that guy.
Yeah,
Woodby.
Yeah. I'm saying, but like Woodby, Brownlee, Rice. I'm sure there might be a few. I got to go back and watch. Yeah, 55. There was these guys came. They look like a little bit of Steelers
46.
defense physicality. You know, yeah, and that played a tone. Obviously, there was youngins we saw 32 out there.
Yeah,
we saw
Stephen Nix Jr. Even though he had the coverage gap or the coverage loss where he came up and pressured Howell when he started escaping the pocket. But his instincts are some of the best we've seen from the linebackers in a while.
Yes.
Obviously, we're going to take the freshman lumps with him, but his instincts are incredible. I love seeing it. It's refreshing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you like some Lundy, Nate, right?
Yep. Again, I'll take those. I'll take that physicality. I think we talked about that last week over a guy like 35. So he played all.
He was in there on goal lines. Yeah, he was in there
one
on
or
some
two
situations, but that's about it.
Yeah. I think 1 or 2. I need to start bringing binoculars too to these games.
Major difference.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the linebackers still struggled in the passing game, but the running game was complete.
Can I tell you what I observed? The RPO game, they tried to run it all night, but I think what happened was our guys became more confident in closing in on the ball. So why am I worried about, the actual run game? Because our front four dominating that. I think our linebackers are like, screw that. I'm not worried about the inside run game. I think Marvin and them boys going to hold that down after the first half. And then, the RPO pass game opened up the second half. I think the safeties and our linebackers, when they start closing in on the RPO and they making Hal close inside, I mean, I like the progression. I think they play great. I think they're growing. I mean, it's young. They're young, and yeah, like you said, 32 is young. I like his instincts. We're gonna take a lot of lumps with him, but he was flying around to the ball. Like he played with a lot of energy, and that's something that we haven't seen in a long time. Like Logan, you said it. Like a list of guys were out there ready just to sell out. And I'm sorry I had to take until playing a top 5 team. We played Miami. I mean, we played Notre Dame, but playing North Carolina. I mean, I'll take it. Man, I will take it. They played balls to the wall. I'll take it.
Yeah.
I think they went cover 1 and just brought the damn heat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They were just,
that's what you got to do. That's what you got to do, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's a lot of good energy, and I just say shout out to the veterans, man. They showed up and they showed up to play. And I think about Marvin Wilson, Corey, whenever he was into Janarius, obviously Kane Doe too. Guys showed up to make plays, and it was huge for Florida State's defense. And I think right now you're seeing, man, if Florida State has momentum, they're kind of hard to stop. And we saw a great first half, and whenever they're putting points on the board, defense was making plays, special teams was making plays. I mean, I feel like whenever Florida State makes some special teams plays, it lights up this whole team, and that's what Mike Norvell had preached whenever he was in the press conference, in the intro press conference. And he said, special teams is, pretty much most likely going to really bring energy to these games if they're able to make plays and put their defense and get their offense out there more on the field. Because, Marvin Wilson, I mean, was he going to block like 20 punts or kicks at the end of this year? Like, what's going on? Like, does he need MVP, special teams MVP? I don't know what it is, but Mike Norvell has some kind of secret sauce. He's got like the Big Mac sauce for special teams coaching right now.
Anyone who watched that first half, the second half, it is what it is. But if you can't see what this program can be on the field, I mean, just stop watching football, because, Florida State's in good hands with Norvell. When he's going to get his guys, he's going to get everyone right mentally. That offense is going to be dangerous with the skill that Florida State can get. That defense will get it figured out. But if you watch that first half and not see how good this program can get again, I just don't know what you're saying.
I tweeted it last night after the game that we've seen more improvements in 5 weeks and no offseason under Norvell than we saw in 21 games plus an entire offseason at Taggart.
Mm-hmm.
And do you guys know why?
Austin, coach.
but
There's a difference.
But what does Norvell always do though? He always takes accountability. If you ever watch him coach, he went to Marvin, and Marvin was he calmly, rationally. Hey, understand? He talked to him. You can see the conversation he was having with his player. It wasn't talking down to him. It wasn't never saying nothing to him, just letting him slide with the behavior. He was setting the tone of how he wanted to be understood, where the player was coming from, and what he was going to tolerate in his program. And it was squashed, and it was over. It was over and done with. The process, move on. We've seen Taggart let guys act how they want to act, walk right past him, don't say a word to him, and there's no tone or what he can and cannot take or what he will and will not allow.
Mm-hmm. And that's perfectly exemplified by Dante's stupid-ass penalty. He yanked him off they took him out.
Gone.
Go sit. There's accountability for your bad mistakes, and
I think that's across the whole coaching. I think that's also across the whole coaching staff too. I saw Coach Atkins absolutely just the little things. I mean, Dante Lucas, they're still in a timeout. Dante Lucas is leaving by himself to go get set up on the field. And Coach Atkins is absolutely cussing him out and getting into his face. It's just like the little things, and finding players accountable is huge moving forward. Sorry, Nate.
Are you good? Now,
you see the late hit on the was it 0 out of bounds? Norvell snapped.
Yeah.
Not many people see Norvell. He rushed to the referee. We didn't see that out of Taggart. You know, players want to see their coaches sell out for them as well as them on the field.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean,
Yeah,
he's
when Durden got his targeting, they went back, which was on the other side of the field, coming towards my way in the Champions Club, and Mike Norvell went from that side of the field all the way down there and ran down to the head ref and needed to have a chat with them. It's just, you know.
I mean, if you can mouth read, it's like unfucking believable.
It
know?
is.
It was, and a couple times, what the fuck you doing? Calmly, he's not gonna let some guy just come sit on the bench after making their stupid plays. Like you said, Karlos, he's gonna stop you right there. He's gonna coach you up. He's gonna pat you on the head, and then he's gonna follow up with the hey. He's gonna give it another pat, and he's moving on. Willie just sat there dumbfounded, staring up at the sky or the scoreboard. How the fuck did we get here?
We saw it on the roughing the kicker too with Cooper.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing. We went right up to him, like, "Come on, man, what are you doing? You can't be doing this."
Like you can't throw your. It's not a place where you're gonna throw your hands up anymore. Like, oh, I didn't know what I was doing. Hey, bro, like he treats them like grown men. Hey, man, don't walk away from me. Talk to me. Speak to me. I'm gonna get this corrected. Hey, I'm not taking that. It's unacceptable. You know what you did wrong. That's not what we coach. It's not the standard here. That's not how we play. Yes, sir. Process. Move on. You go on about your day. You go to make the next play, and that's what the boys did. Marvin and Cooper went on after that. It went along and played great football. They played. They closed out the game. They didn't win. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, he's setting the standard for what he will allow and won't allow. And I think the guys are truly buying in. And the guys he recruited in that recruiting class and this next one coming in, he's setting the standard. He's changing the culture. And, I mean, we're here for it, guys. We're here for it.
It's hard not to buy in whenever you win against the number 5 team in the country at home. You do it in front of all your fans. You see how happy they are. The players able to go celebrate with the student section. I mean, it's hard not to buy in after that. I mean, there wasn't games where Florida State was not able to compete under Willie Taggart. This game would not have been close going into the fourth quarter.
How do you feel about the rest of the season, guys?
I feel positive. I think there's going to be ups and downs, but every week, though, the best part about it, you're seeing a line graph, but it's going up. You're not seeing like kind of stagger around. I don't really count the Miami game as much because Mike Norvell was not there, and I think it played a big part. But you're seeing a growth every week, which all of us here, that's what we want to see. You look at that and look at what Mike Norvell just won against the number 5 team in the country. He had no damn spring. He had no idea who was really his quarterback was going to be. He made a quarterback change, and he's able to pull off an upset like that on national television. And that goes into recruiting, which we'll probably talk with Nate about later in the week. But that is huge for a guy that did not have a spring at all, going through COVID, going through the whole social thing that he went on with his team. That right there tells you the future's bright in Tallahassee.
Yeah, probably coming into this game, we were thinking there's not very many, or I would say going into the Notre Dame game, we were thinking there's probably not very many wins left on the schedule, but things are looking so much more optimistic. You can easily beat Louisville next week. Pittsburgh's not looking great. NC State's looking a little bit better than a lot of people were expecting, but there's no reason we can't beat them. Yeah, there's no reason we can't beat them. Clemson, it's Clemson. And then Virginia and Duke are duds right now.
We lose one more game the rest of the season. We lose to Clemson the rest of the season. Yep. I said it earlier to my wife. I said, "Hey, I don't think we lose another game. I think we just lose to Clemson, and I think we can with the improvements every week. I'm not talking about we winning. I say we win every game like we beat North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
We win by 3.
I
take that.
Yep. I think that first, going back to Norvell real quick, talking about buy-in. You have Jones coming over from Mississippi State, who, talking to kids that are in Mississippi, his exact quote is that, Norvell's a genius. So these kids are buying into what he's doing, and they can see how good he is as a coach. But, when you look at the season, I think the Louisville game is probably, the closest 50-50 matchup. I think that this is going to tell you a lot if Florida State can come in and sustain that improvement. I think that Florida State can beat Louisville. I kind of wonder why they're a 6-point favorite. but that is what it is. I think Carolina State losing Leary, I think that hinders that offense a lot. Clemson is Clemson. I just wanted to see him be competitive in that game. But I don't think anyone is touching Clemson right now. Them and Alabama are separated, and maybe see what Ohio State's about. But every game is winnable moving forward, except for Clemson. And I don't, like you said, Austin. I don't think you could say that coming into Carolina. You look at win shares and all that stuff. I think you really have a really good possibility of 7-4, 6-5 being the worst case scenario. When you were looking at 5-6, 4-7, so this win can turn around. The program can turn around perception. It shows recruits that proof of concept, as Jason Staples and I were talking about a little bit on our pregame over there. Now they have something to show these recruits. So it's that trajectory, like you said, Logan's moving up. So I think you're looking at 7-4, 6-5 worst case, and you couldn't say that a week ago.
It's not even something that you could show recruits. It's something you could show your own players right now. Say, hey, this works.
Absolutely.
We can do this. There's so much more optimism than we thought. And like you said, I don't understand how Louisville's a 6-point favorite, considering both teams are still finding themselves right now. Next week's going to be a really, really interesting game, and I'm curious to see what happens next week. We'll get into that in the preview later in the week, but it's going to be an interesting game.
It was almost like a monkey was lifted off the back.
Yeah.
This is their first win against a top 5 team as an unranked Florida State team since Boston College. They beat Matt Ryan. So these wins haven't happened since 2015, 2016. The last big win was probably the Orange Bowl.
Yeah, that was our last win over a top 10 team, was Michigan.
Yep. And it looked like there was a little, you were able to breathe a little bit, and success breeds success. So I'm eager to see what happens moving forward.
And I think you're also seeing what I loved hearing too after the game is listening to like Kando and Pokey talking. And you see it across social media too, but you're seeing maturity from this team too. And it comes from your leaders and comes from the veteran leaders, but it also comes obviously with the new coaching staff and Norvell, what he's preaching, what kind of culture he's trying to bring. But that night we got players tweeting, we got to get ready for the next game. That was good. That was great. That was awesome. We'll enjoy the night, but I'm ready to go to practice tomorrow. That's what Ontario said. I said, I got to go to practice tomorrow. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to get after it. So that kind of wakes up that team and believing with Norvell. And I think they saw it with Notre Dame having that be a pretty competitive game at South Bend. And after a win like that, these guys are going to bleed and sweat for Mike Norvell moving forward, which is huge, and that plays a big presence for a football team and a program.
I got to ask Karlos this. What's in my head? So, Karlos, how do you think you would like playing for Coach Taggart?
I think I would end up being like Major 9. They would have called me Major Los or something like that. Like I would have ended up having like a music career because all I did was listen to music all day. I mean, it worked out for Major 9. I mean, people like his music. He got lots of followers on Instagram. I mean, I like his music.
But you like hitting people, though. You like hitting people.
I mean, I just didn't see. I honestly, I'd be honest with you. I don't think Taggart could have recruited me. I don't think it was nothing that would have made me want to go like Jimbo was changing the culture. You know what I'm saying? Like my brother was here. Like he played with Bobby and Vince was like, I'm not transferring. Like my brother was like, I'm still here. Like, why am I finna transfer? I'm rocking with Jimbo. I'm rocking with what's going on. So I mean, Taggart, you come into like it wasn't like you were changing a culture and y'all were moving in the right direction. Y'all went backwards, not slowly, but fast. It went downhill fast. And it was kind of hard. Like, why y'all people? I was surprised kids were still wanting to come to Florida State.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
I don't know. I don't know if Taggart really could have recruited. I mean, what at that point in time, what was Taggart going to sell you on? Dressing up kids, putting us in the flyest uniforms because we're at Florida State. I mean, we're a Nike Pro team. We're gonna wear the best of the best when it comes to Nike. So I mean, was it about taking all the fly pictures and looking cool when I come in and wearing the visor and doing all that. I mean, that was a selling point. But I mean, Florida State, it's Tallahassee is a great city to be in when you're a college kid. Yeah, but what else are you selling me? You're not selling me a national championship because you ain't won one. You ain't selling me no conference championship because you ain't won one. So what are you selling me on?
There's a lot of you hear that a lot about I would say that you were legacy, but your brother played at Florida State. You're kind of always kind of destined to go there. But there's a lot of kids who have said that if I was coming up when I was getting recruited and Taggart was a coach, I wouldn't have came here. And that speaks a lot about just how bad it was at Florida State under him.
And honestly, though, it is honestly hearing that, though, Nate, I'm be honest, being real, it does make me sad because I remember when my brother got recruited, Bobby Bowden came and sat in my front room, man. Bobby Bowden came and sat in my front room and ate dinner at my house, and I was in 9th grade. He offered me a scholarship when I was in 9th grade. Like, I got recruited by Bobby. And then the very next year, Jimbo came in and said, I'm holding the scholarship still. I was a sophomore. I ain't played a down of varsity football yet. Then I started my sophomore year both ways. He held my scholarship. So, I mean, we got recruited in a different time where Florida State was not only changing a culture, but their culture was booming and it was moving in the right direction. So, yeah, I understand a lot of these guys are frustrated like, dang, I was coming to Florida State where Jimbo, he was left. But even when Bobby left, the culture still remained the same. It was about winning and tradition and being a family. No, Taggart made it about listening to trap music and let's have fun. And that's cool. Yeah, we had fun, but our fun was at 425 at Team Run. Our fun was going to Pasadena twice with winning 3 ACC championships, winning an Orange Bowl, going to battle every single day. That was our fun. Not listening to music and
finishing at Clemson.
Yeah, like you know what I'm saying. Like it was a difference, and there's no knock at Taggart because maybe that works somewhere, and it doesn't work. It just doesn't work for Florida State. It's my whole thing. It's not something that Florida State's ever been like. We were always about football, business, tradition, family. Our head football coaches always were men of faith. You know what I'm saying? Be real. Just keep it a buck. Like we always been men of faith. Our football staff always been guys that were great coaches and men first. Mm-hmm. Look at the coaching staff you have now, and look at 2013 about the coaches. They were family men first. They always put the man upstairs. Like, know what I'm saying? Like it was just a different culture of people. Taggart had a bunch of guys on roster that was his homeboys. Mm-hmm. I'm finna go play pickup basketball. I'm gonna go pick up a bunch of home. Like, no, I'm Pee Wee. Remember kindergarten? We said we're gonna be coaches. I got a chance. Nah, bruh. No, Pee Wee, you can't coach with me because you gonna get the job done. I'm just being honest, man. It was like he had a lot of friends that wanted an opportunity of a lifetime, and I understand because I probably would have took it too. Call me today, ask me I want to be the head coach. At Florida State, it's my dream job. Mm-hmm. Of course, I would take it, but I don't think he was ready for it, and it's not fair to those kids that they didn't understand the gravity of the situation. I don't think he understood how much pressure it was to come in and win right away. Norvell understands, and he's building it slowly but surely at the right pace. We beat number 5 team in the country, and we didn't think we were going to win 6 games this year. You get what I'm saying? It's a difference. Taggart lost to number 5. Like, Taggart would have beat number 5 in the country. Number 5 in the country would have had every all-starting 22 guys would have been hurt. Like, it would have had something drastic would have had to happen. Norvell puts belief in this university, in this football program. Taggart really didn't do that.
Yeah, I think there's buy-in. You're going to see a lot of buy-in. Any last thoughts on the North Carolina game before we move on? We always record on Thursdays, and we go live around Thursday at 9 p.m. But if y'all have any last thoughts here on our initial reaction to the North Carolina game, go ahead.
Those bitch.
My only final thought is Mac Brown is still winless against Florida State. He is 0-10, and I find that so funny.
I think he also hurt himself in this game. I don't want to go back into it, but I mean, he was just letting that time chew up, man. I mean, I don't really know what's going on. Maybe Sam Howell wasn't finding things, but man, they would not go out of bounds. Guys, they were just taking their sweet long time, and Mike Norvell was taking advantage of it. Obviously, you're facing number 5 team on the country, going to take slow reps, blah, blah, blah for FSU. But Mac Brown was eating up some time.
Honestly, I think a little bit of this, their defensive coordinator has experience coaching against Norvell. I think that they knew that they probably have a little bit of issue going against Norvell and his offense. I think they probably thought they controlled the clock a little bit, and that Florida State wasn't going to be able to stop the running game. And I think that's why they didn't go away from it until they kind of had to. I think they kind of thought they could just pound the ball, put points up on the ground, and that Florida State defense wasn't going to come and play. So I think, that's my opinion of kind of what we saw from the Carolina offense.
Or maybe this was just a hell of an insider job with Mac Brown being an FSU alum. We're like, hey, we kind of need this win, man.
Thanks, Matt.
I'll take it any day of the week. It was a beautiful night in Doak. The fans were in it. I still haven't watched the game yet from TV, but man, the stands were wild. And with COVID going on, it's a little interesting. But you got guys hugging, you got dads yelling, you got moms running around with their kids and smiles, and the war chant was loud. The fight song was loud. It just felt really, really good. You had the Chiefs in the house too. They were blasting. They were loud, man. It was good stuff, and a beautiful night in Tallahassee. And moving forward, I think the future is growing to be brighter under Mike Norvell. And things, man, plays were made. I'm excited. I'm motivated. I'm ready to already get into this Louisville preview, but we got a few days to go. But as always, we definitely appreciate everyone listening live. I think we've had, a couple hundred on here watching between Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. But if you're listening right now on YouTube, hit that subscribe button so then you'll be notified every time we release a new episode on there. Hit that like button if you're on Facebook, retweet if you're on Twitter, hit the follow button. You can find us on Twitter at Here the Spear. With me this evening was our lead recruiting insider, Nate Greer, our man Karlos Williams, former 2013 national champion. I got Austin Easy in here too, our lead basketball writer. Basketball's picking up too. We got a busy next couple of weeks. Future's looking bright. Thank you everybody for listening, and we will talk to you guys Thursday night for our preview for Florida State versus Louisville. See you guys.
Same color t-shirt. Mama told me not to sell